You know, medical imaging can reveal astonishing things. Bones and organs, even molecules. But with all of its power, no machine on earth can see the deepest layer of all. Yeah, there's a scan you can't hide from, an examination that reaches past tissue and bone into motives, intentions, and the hidden places of the soul. Nothing stays buried there. God sees it all. And he sees it with perfect clarity, perfect truth, and perfect love. Hi, Bishop Robert Gosselin here from the Confessing Anglican Church, and this is the first word. That time every morning where you and I get together to study God's word, not just for the information, but for the formation, and that clarity and peace that only Christ can give. So have a seat, take a deep breath, settle your heart and mind, and let's jump into today's first word. You know, if you've ever seen an X-ray or a CT scan, you've had the chance to look inside the human body. But there is an inside look that reveals a lot more than you'd ever imagine. Now, the capabilities of modern medicine to visualize the inside of our bodies, they're nothing short of astounding. And we've come a long way since the accidental discovery of the X-ray around the turn of the 20th century. Did you know today about 75 million people a year receive a CT scan? Now, a CT scan is a combination of X-rays and computer imaging that literally slices the body into tiny cross sections. When your doctor needs to see even deeper than that, literally down to the molecular level, a PET scan is ordered. Now, that doesn't mean he brings his dog to work. PET stands for positron emission tomography. And it can measure metabolism. It can track blood flow. It can even identify what the oxygen levels are in the blood at various places in your body. But image fusion takes it even farther. Because by overlaying a CT scan with a PET scan, doctors are going to get an incredibly detailed view of all the inner workings of your body. But none of that even comes close to what today's verse shows us. Today's verse says, I, the Lord, search all hearts and examine secret motives. Now, King David prayed a similar prayer in Psalm 139 when he said, search me, O God, know my heart, try me and know my anxious thoughts, and see if there be any hurtful way in me, and lead me into life everlasting. My friends, God is the heart searcher. More powerful than any medical scan, he sees the state of our heart, our thoughts, our motives, our intentions. And unlike a simple medical procedure, his examination is constant. He always knows the up to the nanosecond condition of our inner being. He says, I, the Lord, search all hearts. Now, this isn't a functional evaluation of the heart as an organ, how much blood it's pumping or whatever. It's a moral and spiritual examination. It's revealing every invisible element of our soul and our spirit. He knows each person with that same clarity. There's no use offering a phony prayer to the one who searches the hearts. Pretending piety, that's just unmasked before him. We may fool others, possibly maybe even fool ourselves, but we're not going to fool God. And that, my friends, is the value of David's prayer. 500 years before Jeremiah wrote that the heart is desperately wicked and deceitful above all things, David already knew it. He knew that his heart could soar in worship and plunge into lust and adultery and lies and murder. David knew. And if we're honest, so do we. Our hearts can deceive us. Oh, they can convince us of things that oppose God's word and make us believe they're right. Those things are traps. They're as deadly as cancer. Look, your heart may whisper to you that your spouse is no longer lovable. Divorce is the best option. It's not. It's not. Your heart may insist that same-sex relationships, they're harmless, they're fulfilling. They're not. These are lies. These are lies that destroy. And yet, even when our hearts deceive us, God searches them. God searches our hearts and reveals our hidden motives. He exposes what we can't see. And He leads us from darkness to light, from death to life. Look, I know this from personal experience. You never want to hear your oncologist say, "You have cancer." But if he has to say it, you want his very next words to be, "But we caught it early and we can treat it." Catching sin early, before it takes root, before it metastasizes and spreads. That's how you want to deal with it. When God searches our hearts and reveals it all, invite His examination. Listen to His diagnosis. The greatest value of a physical exam, it's identifying the issues before they become life-threatening. That's why David counseled Solomon to serve God willingly with a whole heart and a whole mind. The prescription of the great physician, it's simple. Seek Him. Seek Him with a whole heart and a willing mind, because if you seek Him, He will let you find Him. When your heart decides to seek God, He leads you. He rewards you with Himself. His presence fills your heart with life and health and wholeness and purity. But those who refuse to seek Him also receive their due reward. Those who insist on distance from God, going to find it. Those who cling to their own way and just push God away, they're going to be allowed to pursue their own way, even though that's going to destroy them from the inside out. Here's that full verse again. Listen to the full verse. I, the Lord, search all hearts and examine secret motives, and I give all people their due rewards according to what their hearts deserve. And by far the best image fusion is to allow His image, pure and holy, to overlay ours, to bring His heart within us, conforming us to His likeness. And that just doesn't report the scan, it heals from within. And trust me when I tell you, the heart searcher, he knows exactly where to begin.